1894, Arthur Savage started the Savage Arms Company. It's been an iconic firearm manufacturer for over 120 years. It eventually became one of the largest selling manufacturers in sporting rifles in the world. Now, we might think of a Savage 22 as being a kid's gun, but it's not. Because in this book by John Taylor, who spent most of his life in Africa hunting game, large game and small game, he wrote a book on African rifles and cartridges. Now, it's just not a book for people that want to go to Africa and hunt big game. It also has chapters on medium bore rifles and also small bore rifles. But he writes in the small bore rifle section in chapter 6, page 194 and 195, he specifically talks about the Savage 22 rifle. And I will read you what he says here. I have read of the 22 Savage being used on one occasion by a person to shoot a man-eating tiger. However, I am glad that it was he and not I. Still, he killed the tiger. However, I am most certainly not recommending any such weapon for that kind of shooting, any more than for stopping a charging rhino. Then on page 195, he writes, the modern 22 long rifle rimfire is really an astounding little weapon. Given a good scope sight and a steady shot, it's always most unbelievable the variety of animals that you can shoot with it. Last thing that John says about the 22 rimfire rifle is that he says, I would happily undertake walking through the backbrush of Africa armed with nothing more than a rimfire 22 rifle and a good powerful handgun, and I am sure that I would not go hungry. I'm Riveroo Bay, and welcome to my gun kingdom. Well, if there ever was a rifle that deserved a part 2, it's actually the Savage Mark II Long Rifle 22. And we're out here again with John Bowser, and we're going to shoot at 100 yards today, John. Now, John is a great marksman, and last time we shot this, for part 1, you actually shot a round of 5 and like 4 targets. And some of them you got, a dime could cover them up.
Yeah, that was at 50 yards with the standard velocity target loads. Shoots pretty accurate. That was the first time I ever shot it. So now we're just trying 100 yards. This is a bullet drop compensator scope, and I'm just kind of interested to see how well it works. It's got 3 dots in it. It's sighted in for 50. So then you got 75, 100, and 125 yards. We're also trying different shells. I'm going to try the standard velocity target load. And then I've got mini mag target that's 40 grain, 1235 feet per second. I'm going to try those. And then I have the hollow points that are 36 grain at 1260 feet per second. And then I've never shot any of these. These are varmint 32 grains at 1640 feet per second.
And those are called stingers, right?
Yeah, stingers, CCI stingers. So I've never even shot them.
Now,
My
for
experience with some of the real fast loads in my other 22 is they didn't shoot as accurate. But like for woodchucks, they shot fine, but they didn't put groups in like some of my other loads did. But we're going to try them out. I've heard good things about them, but I've never shot one.
Now, the last time in part 1, we actually shot subsonic.
Right, that's the
22s.
target loads are subsonic,
Right.
which are 1070. They claim
So-
they're more accurate, which I believe that.
So the speed of sound, feet per second, is 1125, and those are 1070.
Right.
Are you going to shoot those at 100 yards?
Yeah,
today?
I'm going to try them at 100 yards.
Okay.
The scope's actually set up. The bullet drop compensators, what they say at the Bushnell is, I believe, set up for the 1235s is what the marks on it are for. This isn't one you adjust for bullet drop. It's just got dots and the reticles that you use instead of the crosshair. You move it up to a dot, move it up to the next dot, according to what yardage.
Now tell us about the scope again. It's a 3x9, right?
Right, 3x9, 40 millimeter. It's a little bit bigger optics. And it seems to be a good scope.
You don't need to wear prescription glasses when you use this.
When this
do you?
one I don't. I never figured that out. Some of them I do and some of them I don't. So I got to take my glasses up to see good through this one.
Now we put it in the lead sled just to hold it steady. Obviously the 22 doesn't have any recoil. But this will keep it steady and we'll see how we do at 100 yards.
Yep, I'm interested to see how these shells do.
And what we have today, we have a spotting scope with us today, and also we have a GoPro that we'll put down range, so you'll actually see it hit the target, and I think it'll go pretty good, don't you?
Oh, I think so.
These guns are amazing how accurate they are.
Yeah, they're good shooting guns.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get, I think right now they got them on sale, where you can get the standard one with the scope for, I don't know, $259. It's just a plastic stock and doesn't have the big bowl barrel. But, boy, for hunting, that'd be a squirrel getting gun, just for plinking and stuff.
Now, if you want to see John shoot this at 50 yards, make sure you watch part 1. It's titled Not Just for Kids. But today we're going to shoot at 100 yards, and we will announce which shells we are using as we go along too. So we got the Stingers at 1640.
16,
And
yeah,
32 grains.
1640, yep.
And then
Yep,
we
they're
got,
lighter and faster.
which ones you
Hollow
going to shoot
point.
first?
Well, I'm going to try the standard velocity ones
Okay.
to see how much drop it has.
Okay.
I'll use the 100-yard mark because that's what it's sighted in at 50 yards.
So this gun is right now is sighted in for 50 yards.
Right, with the standard target loads.
And that's subsonic.
Right.
Okay. 1070.
Theoretically, the faster ones won't have as much drop. I believe the drop in them is about 6 inches at 100 yards. Sighted in at 50, they'll drop about 6 inches. I don't know if they say that on these. Some of them used to. I don't think they say anymore. But that's pretty much about common, a 6-inch drop.
Now we're shooting all CCI today too, so
Yeah, I'm not sponsored by CCI. I like them, and these are just seem like to be the most readily available 22s, especially in the different velocities. So I've used CCIs forever, and I shoot everything, but I just happen to like them. Like I say, you can go and get them about any time. Some of the other ones, they all make them, Winchester and Remington, they all make basically the same thing. It's just that these seem to be the ones that you can go to the local gun store and get.
and
So
they're
it's-
very accurate because
Yeah, they're all accurate. I don't think I've ever had a misfire with the CCI.
Now you shot in part 1 of this gun that we're shooting today, the Savage Mark II. You shot all CCI last time.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I got it for, 50-yard target shooting, and so that standard target load is what I'll be shooting 95% of the time. This is just kind of experimenting to see what they do.
Well, what do you say we load this thing up and shoot it?
Yep. Okay, we're going to shoot just 5 of the standard velocity target loads, which it's sighted in for 50 yards. I'm shooting it at 100 yards and see what they do.
Tell them the speed of that subsonic you're using.
That's 1070.
What grain?
40. The heavier ones are more accurate. That's why all your standard ones are usually 40 grain. And I'm using the second dot on this, was supposed to be for 100 yards. There's one, you got the center X, and you got 3 dots. One's for 75 yards, 100 yards, 125 yards. I just want to see what these will do from 50 to 100 using this bullet drop compensator. From what I say, this shooting way, way low. Yeah, it's still, so them are shooting about 4 inches low. Yet they'll still shoot low. So I know them have got more than 6-inch drop. So now we're going to shoot the mini mag targets, which are 1235 feet per second. I'm going to use the second dot, which is supposed to be 100 yards, and see where these hit. They're faster, heavy, or just as heavy. They're faster, so they theoretically should shoot a little bit higher. I'm going to shoot the same target because I know where the other ones all hit low. Pulled that one. First one just shot just right of the bullseye. Just right of the bullseye. So see, these shells are at 100 yards. I'm shooting a little bit to the right. Those all shot just to the right of the bullseye.
Level.
So the elevation's pretty good, but it did shoot to the right about an inch. So those, well, that's what the scope was made for, this velocity.
And we had 0 wind today.
Right. Oh, it's a beautiful day for shooting. Yeah. So I'm not going to move the scope yet because I had it sighted in very well at 50 yards with the target loads, which is what I'll mostly be shooting. Because with these 22s, every load shoots a little bit different. It's amazing how it can make a difference from having it sighted in pinpoint and then you change shells and it can be a whole different grouping. So these are the Mini Mag hollow points. It's 36 grains at 1260 feet per second, which they consider a varmint load, and that's what they would be with the hollow point.
Are you shooting at a different target?
No, I might have to. I'm just shooting at the same one. I believe it hit just right of the bullseye. These are hitting about the exact same spot as the Mini Mag at 1235. I'm at 100 yards. They're grouping good. I'm just a little bit to the right. And I say I don't know if I want to move it to the left because it had shooting so good at 50 yards is what it's intended to do. Yeah, if I move that over an inch to the left, it'd probably be hitting bullseye. So I need to move it. Oh, right? No, I need to move it left. Let's try that. Ideally, this is showing me a sight in with the target loads at 50. I can go to the Mini Mags at 100 and it shoots dead on. So I'm going to try these again. Just see if that made any difference.
And what speed are these?
1235. I'm going to shoot at a new target. I got too many holes in that one. Both the 1235 and the 1260 shot basically the same place. Which the slower ones are heavier, and they usually tends to so I'm going to change, shoot at the right target. shooting just below the bullseye. Actually, the first couple went just left a little, and then the other ones, they're all right in there. That grouping is all right there. One's in the bullseye. They're all pretty close together, right below the bullseye. One's actually in the rod, and the other ones are right below it. Moved it to the left 3 clicks, which should have been 3/4 of an inch. So now I'm going to shoot I'm going to try some of the stingers, which are 1640. See, these I have never shot. I have no idea what they're going to do. Well, sucker shot way high. I'm using the 100-yard mark. Both of them. Tell you what, right together and high.
How many inches?
Probably 3 inches high. That's using the second dot, which is for 100 yards. It's using the same dot as I've used on the other one. That put all of them very good grouping, about 3 inches high. And still, they're all a little bit to the left. I am going to move this back 1 click. I don't think I should have moved that much. From what I see, those grouped very well. Better than I thought they would. But I say it's high. I'm going to shoot those again.
And these are 32 grain, right?
Right, these are the 32 grain 1640. I think that's the fastest 22 shell made that I know of. Now what I found before, the faster ones didn't shoot as accurate. Well, I'll tell you what, through this gun, it's shooting very well. So I'm going to use the 75-yard dot and see where it hits. Because we know it doesn't drop as much as the other ones. Yeah, let's take a look and see what I did there. I put it all around the bullseye. One of them in it and the other ones all around it. Which just goes to show me I can very well use different loads in that and use that bullet drop compensator with very good results. That's what using the 75 mark with those stingers, it puts them right on the bullseye. And they group fairly well. I mean, didn't group like 50-yard shooting did, but very much used for a woodchuck or coyote or something. I would not hesitate to use it on that at 100 yards. Yeah, I moved that one
so
over.
For woodchuck, you'd stay with the 1640?
Oh yeah, them stingers, they get there. You can tell, I mean, you pull the trigger, I can see it instant. When I was shooting target loads, the standard ones, out to 100 yards, you can hear the gun go off and then hear it hit the target. I mean, there's a little lapse in time there. That's so what is it? That's 600. 700, over 700 feet per second difference. It's a big difference. But as far as they shoot accurate, I'd say this bullet drop compensator does what it's supposed to, and they shot them all very accurately through this gun. Because I know through my old 50-year-old automatic, I get a big variance in shooting these. But not with this gun. Shoots. Be interesting to watch it on the GoPro because it shoots very well. So I think I have some good results. It's exactly what I wanted to do and find out. And they did exactly what I was hoping they'd do. Very well satisfied with those shells and the scope. So fun doing this. The right hand target, right top.
Oh yeah, I can see them really good.
So the low ones was shooting standard or the mini mag target loads at the 1240, 1235. They still dropped. Then the ones right kind of underneath the bottom of the bullseye, those are the 1265.
I see. Okay.
That's all using the second dot for 100 yards. Now see the ones at the top of the target?
Yep.
Those are using those 12 or them 1640s using the 100-yard mark. Look how much higher they. Now, The other ones on the top of the bullseye,
Yep.
that I went to the 75-yard mark and shot those stingers. And they put it right in there.
So you'd actually have to take notes for each one of those.
Well, basically, if I wanted to go woodchuck hunting with the sight in for 50 yards, I'd use these and use the 75-yard mark. That's what they're hitting right around the bullseye. Because they got a lot less drop. See, they used to always put the drop on these. I'm glad you can get on online. I don't think they do that anymore. No. And I mean, they all grouped very well. They all grouped as good. Didn't matter which one I shot.
Let's walk out to the target and
Yeah.
we'll explain a little better.
But no, I'm very happy. That's what theoretically I was hoping it would do, and it pretty much did. Right, so these up here, I was using a 100-yard mark, and it shot that high. I used a 75-yard mark, and right there's my shot.
And that's with the 1640.
Yes. The ones below here are with the 1235.
Explain the target on the left now. Those were your very first.
Yes, these down here were the standard target loads at 11 or 1070. That's how much drop. And then with the higher velocity it shot there, I moved it to the right 2 clicks, and it did that. These are with the faster ones.
1640.
Yeah, these are the 1640s. That, I moved it down and put them right in there.
Yeah, that's
Very
almost
happy with that.
that's almost 5 inches on the ones on the top, isn't it, from the bullseye?
Oh yeah, each one of these are an inch. It's 1, 2, 3, probably 5 inches. Yeah.
So it's a flatter trajectory with the
Sure is.
the
Yep.
1640.
Lot flatter trajectory.
And you think you could shoot those at 300 yards, 300, 400
Oh,
yards?
they shoot them long distance. I'm sure. I'm surprised at the grouping them give me. And really, the gun's not broken in. I'm broken up. Can't see. I'm very impressed with the grouping. I mean, it's not putting them in the same hole, but either of these, woodchuck, hell, even a squirrel, you're probably going to hit it.
Yep.
You know. Well, for woodchuck, I definitely use these stingers that are 1640, and I'd have a gun sight in for 100 yards, or at least know where it's shooting at 100 yards, which is what this bullet drop compensator does. Because they get there and very accurate. I'm greatly happy with those.
So it's going to get there to the woodchuck before he'll hear it.
Yeah, I'd say using a standard 22, I've shot a woodchucks 100 yards away and they duck back down before the bullet gets to them. These basically are giving you the performance of a 22 Magnum. Really. I don't know if that's what they intended, but that's really about what standard 22 Magnum, I believe, is right around 1,600 feet per second, which they make them now over 2,200 or something like that. Go with the lighter bullets, you can get more speed out of them, but some, I know in some guns and some shells, the fast light ones don't shoot as accurate.
So what grain do you recommend for woodchuck?
Oh, this is what I'd use. So it's the first time I ever shot them, and they impressed me.
Those are 32 grain?
32 grain compared to the standard 40 grain. So, let's see, what one do I want to shoot at? Maybe I'll shoot at the center target. I can see that pretty well. What I want to do right now, so I'm going to shoot at the center target with the stingers at 1270 or at 1640, excuse me. I am just using the crosshairs, which is sighted in with the target loads at 50 yards. I'm just going to shoot and see how much drop there is on these. Didn't see where it hit. Maybe I missed. They are probably shooting 2 inches low. You see them? They're probably 2 inches low, those two shots.
You're right. Well, one is about 3 inches low.
Is it?
And it's slightly to the left.
Yeah. Well, we're getting a little bit of a cross breeze right now. You know, right in the same hole.
Pretty much the same hole. You're just slightly under. You're just slightly under that one. Now you're to the right. But you're pretty level. Low and to the left.
But that's showing about a 3-inch drop.
Yep.
Where your standard 22's got about a 6-inch drop. So I'm going to put 5 more in and I'm going to shoot it with the first dot, which is for 75 yards, with the standard 22's. I shot a little bit above the bullseye that time. Yeah, that put 2 of them in the bullseye, 2 of them below it, and 2 of them to the top right of it. But all grouping in that middle ring, which would be deadly on a woodchuck. That's using the 75-yard mark with those shells. So if I could remember all that information, I could shoot that from anywhere to 50 to 100 yards with the right shell.
What would you say would be the right shell for that?
For 100 yards, a stinger. Even, I always said 100 yards is maximum for a 22. I'm sure these stingers, with what they're showing me, you could probably go 125 yards. But that's what I've always said, 100 yards for a 22. Because these would not be my choice of a 100-yard bullet, you know what I mean?
What are you going to shoot now?
But they're considered their target. They're 12, 35, 40 grain, mini mag long rifles, not the hollow points. They call them target, I don't know why, but just because I haven't shot any yet, 100 yards.
What target you going to shoot at?
The middle target, I'll take top left. But I'm going to use a 100-yard marking. Well, I'm like they put 2 in the lower half of the bullseye, 2 right below it, and another one I really dropped. So they don't shoot too bad. But I just wanted to try those. I see no use in those. So we proved what we wanted to. Those stingers work nice, shoot good at 100 yards. I would not think twice about using them for woodchuck. That's using the high velocity target loads.
High velocity 1640.
No, the 1235 target loads. These are the stingers.
The stingers are 1640.
Yep. I'm shooting it right in there. I'm happy with it.
I see you have some below. What did you raise your?
That's why I shot it using just the crosshairs. And it shot that much lower. Put it up to the first dot, which is really 75 yards for standard 22s. That puts them right in at 100 yards with those stingers. So So it shoots a good 2 inches low. That one's almost 3, but not near as much drop as a regular 22.
Well, John, your final thoughts on today's shooting at 100 yards with the Savage Mark II long rifle 22?
Well, did what I wanted to do. It very much impressed me. The scope works like they advertise it, and you could see the difference in the different speeds of shell, the drop in them. Some of them are quite dramatic, but those stingers at 100 yards shoot very well. That'd be my choice for any type of varmint hunting. So that pretty much sums it up. Standard target loads for 50 yards shooting, the stingers for 100 yards. Someday I might even put it out to 150 and just see what it'll do. But that's about it for now.
So if you like this video, make sure you click the like button down below if we helped you out, and also hit that subscribe button because there's always more future content coming up. I thank John for coming out today and shooting this Savage Mark II at 100 yards. So thanks, John, and hope you come back again and we'll shoot it again at 150 yards. But I want to thank all my subscribers, and I want to thank my future subscribers, and I thank you for watching.
I'm closing up shop, closing up my store. I know this city doesn't need me no more, and I know it ain't no mystery. I'm going on back to bear country. My back is broke, my head is numb. This new generation's making me feel old and dumb. The road is dark, but I can't see. I know I'm getting close to bear country. The city was killing me, now I know. And it was hurting, it was taking its toll. It'll take my body, but it'll never take my soul. It'll take my body, but it'll never take my soul. Take my body, but it'll never take my soul. And I will walk till I fall to my knees, until my heart stops, until it starts to bleed. My heart will always be in bear country. My heart will always be in bear country. The city was killing me, now I know. And it was hurting, it was taking its toll. It'll take my body, but he'll never take my soul. He'll take my body, but he'll never take my soul. Take my body, but he'll never take my soul.